It's only 3:15, so I've got another 5 hours of light, but I have no idea what it's like up there. From the contours, I'm following the stream, and it's pretty level for a while. I really didn't want to have to put on snowshoes. I don't think I have a choice. Alright, so it's coming up to 5. I'm at this intersection here. I did the first 9 or so K, 9 or 10, this valley. I'm planning to go up here. This is where it's going to get steep. It gains about 1,500 feet in 3K. So we'll see. I'm just looking for a good spot to camp. I'm not really, it doesn't really matter where it is as long as it's a nice spot to camp. So I made it up to this little valley I wanted to get to. I think I'm just below 7,000 feet. So not super high. A lot more wintry than I expected. Should have known. First time using this tent for real. Pretty excited. Might not look like it, but the snow's actually really deep. That's better. Whew. 7:30, late. Super hungry. It's gonna get dark soon. Time to get some food going. So I actually brought a bear canister today, rare, but it's a little tiny one called the Bear Boxer. It's like a 2-day can, which is pretty rare. Most of them are huge. This one means you can use it on shorter trips, which is pretty sweet. I don't know if the bears are out yet. Maybe some. The bear canister is a funny thing because I don't know if it stops you from having an encounter. It stops them from getting your food. That's for sure. There's nothing that works better than a bear canister. I saw a bear in New York walk right by my bear can, and go straight for food that was hung up in a tree. Didn't even look at my can. And he went right for that bag of food, so I don't use them very often, but depends where you are. I mean, obviously, if you're somewhere like the Adirondacks, that's just got so many problem bears. I mean, it's the law, first of all, you have to. So I'm not saying that you wouldn't. There you have to. Anywhere where you have to, you have to. But other places, if a bear comes and finds your food, it stops it from getting habituated and becoming a problem bear. Does it mean that you're safer that day? No, I don't think so. Like, if a bear wanders into your camp, yeah, it could be a problem, one way or the other. Yeah, so the plan for today was hike up, find somewhere to camp. I had no idea what it was going to be like up here. Turned out okay. I would have liked to have been like somewhere where I could just see everything a little bit better. I mean, it's spectacular for me. It doesn't show up well on camera. It took a long time. It took like 6 hours, but I didn't go super fast. But the last bit on the snowshoes took time, for sure. Now set up camp. I'm gonna boiling some water, gonna have a meal, then get ready for bed, call it a night. Pretty exhausted, but good day. You know, that's the adventure. It's not an adventure if you know exactly where you're going all the time. That's the whole point. You go somewhere, you don't know what it's gonna be like. You see what happens. I'm not advertising for this brand, by the way. Some people put these in their jacket, but gotta be careful, they can explode. My goal was to get here. Somewhere here. Might have been better to go a bit further, but at a certain time of day, when you see a spot that you can camp at, you camp. Realistically, today I saw this is the 4th spot. That was a good spot to camp. That's the way I do it. When I don't have a spot that I'm gonna camp, I set myself a time, like 6 p.m. The moment I set that time and I see a spot, I take it. So if I say at 6 o'clock I'm gonna start looking for a spot to camp, if I see it at 6:01, I take it. Unless I feel like I'm in a spot where there's really gonna be a lot, but it's a risk. Certain places you know that there's just gonna be more available. Other places it's harder to say. Not perfect gear choices, maybe, I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna call it a night. I filled this bottle up with warm hot water last night. Still warm. Had it in my sleeping bag all night. Works well. So I'm just taking down my camp from last night. All right, that's a wrap. All right, so I'm on the way out from a quick overnight trip in the Canadian Rockies in the spring. I figured why not just go over the gear that I brought with me. It was a little bit of a strange trip in that I basically had a destination in mind, but I had no idea what the conditions were like on the ground, so that made things a little bit tricky. Basically, I knew I'd be hiking up a pretty well-known, heavily traveled canyon, but past a certain point, there'd probably be no one. That's first of all why I opted to bring some snowshoes, which ended up being really important. There was a nice kind of sun crust, which was great. So with the snowshoes, I stayed on top of the crust, but without snowshoes, I'd punch through. A lot of the gear that I brought is pretty much sort of common to almost all of my trips. So if I've gone over that before, I'll sort of skip over it. This is a spring trip, but I knew last night I'd be up in the Alpine. I was up around 6,500 or 7,000 feet. And I knew the forecast was for around -10. So for winter trips, I always bring a cozy, which is super important. The cozy always works. It keeps my water from freezing at night, and I fill a bottle with boiling water, and this keeps it warm all night. So to go with that, I have an HDPE Nalgene bottle and a second one. So this is my water bottle, and this is my any other drink bottle. So I use it for coffee, I use it for like an electrolyte drink. So that's all I have in terms of water carrying, is 2 bottles. And it's basically what I bring on all my trips, and it works out really well. For shelter and sleeping, I brought an MSR front range. So this is the first time I use this shelter. I use pyramid shelters all the time. This was just the first time I used this one. It has the same specs as my OAir tarp. The material's slightly different. So this one's a sil nylon with a polyurethane coating, whereas my OAir is just pure sil nylon. Same weight, basically they work the same. This one just looks nice, it's orange. Ground pad, I brought the NeoAir XTherm MAX or large or whatever it is, it's huge. And I tested out this reflective foam kind of pad to go underneath it because my shelter's floorless. Jury's out on this. Normally I use a ridge rest, and that works really well. The ridge rest is just really bulky, but it's tried and true. I love it. So I'm not sure if I'll use that again. It's a little bit flimsy from my point of view, and really slippery, so you're sliding all over the place all night. Sleeping bag, I brought my Marmot. Can never remember what model this is. Lithium. It says it's rated to -20. I find it a little bit cool for a -20 bag, but it works. I've been down to -20 in it. Use the hot water bottle and stuff to help stay warm. So that's my sleep kit. Altogether, this is under 2 pounds. This is, I think, 3 pounds. Another 1.5 pounds. So you're at like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish pounds for all my sleeping gear, which isn't too bad. I brought a 1.3 liter Evernew pot and an MSR WinPro. Pretty basic stuff there, with one big can of gas. I'll figure out how much I used afterwards. I brought this small bear canister just because it is the season where they're waking up. This is made by a company called Bear Boxer. It's really tiny. I bought it a couple of years ago for trips in the Adirondacks out east, because in the high peak region you need to use a bear canister. Basically all bear canisters are just oversized and really cumbersome, and this is just perfect for like a 2-day trip, or even you could probably squeeze 3 days out of it if your first day you don't put your food is not in it, and then from the first night on everything would fit. And then in terms of little knickknacks, it's my standard kit. Real change here is I'm starting to bring this small silky saw with me. It's just so multifunctional in terms of almost like a survival tool, also just to set up my shelter, Sometimes I use a stick in the center pole for my shelter. So this is just something I'm bringing all the time now. I figure there's a weight penalty to it, but you know, where I am, I'm pretty much alone. It's pretty remote. Headlamp, Fenix HM50R. I've been using this since last fall. I really like it. I replaced a crappy plastic black diamond light, and then I just have, you know, all kinds of little trinkets and like first aid pills, stuff like that. My spoon. I have a pair of micro spikes. Again, no idea what the conditions were going to be like, so I have micro spikes, small snowshoes, and then just regular boots, paper mat, inReach. And the bag I brought is this monster. It's huge. ULA Catalyst. Basically the second or third trip that I've taken it out. No complaints. ULA has a really good reputation for really well-made gear. So I might go over that in detail another time. In terms of clothes, I have my usual kind of action suit. So just a grid hoodie. Underneath I have a merino t-shirt. I've got these Eddie Bauer Guide Pro pants. Underneath just some synthetic long johns, synthetic defeat socks, waterproof breathable Columbia boots. I think they're the Quest 4D. Some little ankle gaiters, along with, this is relatively new to me. I've used this all winter. This is an Eddie Bauer, I can't remember the model, but it's an Eddie Bauer Softshell. It's not the lightest thing, but it's a pretty thin material. I've been really happy with how it works. It breathes really well. It blocks wind. Yeah, it fits me too. So it's a large tall, so that's always a bonus. It really fits me pretty well, I think. So it's got sort of plenty of length in the body. I've just been really happy with this. So in one of my last videos, a gear video, I spoke about how I struggled to find some kind of decent jacket for the winter. This has been really great. I think it'll be overkill in sort of the summer months, and that's when I'd want a real wind jacket. So that's sort of part of what I wear all the time. Hat too, and then these fleece, Polartec Alpha fleece gloves, which I still find phenomenal. They're wearing some holes in them. Extra clothes. I just brought my puffy jacket. I always keep my toque inside the pocket, and a buff inside pocket, so that's always ready to go. I keep this on the top of my bag in case I stop and it's cold. I brought some kind of cheap, no-name thick gloves. All my extra clothes are in here, so this is pretty minimal. So I've got my sleeping socks. I brought these neoprene socks just in case the conditions were really weird and wet. A little beanie, extra underwear, and extra pair of thin gloves, and some bags to put over my socks at camp. I didn't actually use them because I was pretty dry. That's the sum of all the clothes I have on me. So pretty minimal extra stuff. I mean, this is realistically my extras. A little bag here and this jacket. And I wouldn't even call them extras because I know I'm gonna wear this guaranteed. It still adds up to like 20 something pounds. If you're out in the winter, realistically, winter or winter-like conditions, or Alpine where it can be kind of rough, yeah, I think you got to accept that you need to bring a bit more gear just for that margin and play it safe.